All right, with MPC3 coming out and some people kind of hesitant about upgrading, others super excited. I myself am really excited about it. I wanted to take a look at the original MPC3. So back when the MPC 1000 and 2500 were fairly new machines, someone by the name of JJ released what is known as the JJ OS. There was a free version, there was an OS 1, an OS 2, XL, and an OS 3. So I have an MPC 1000 here sitting in front of me with OS 3 on it, and I wanted to explore it a little bit because I feel like a lot of the inspiration for MPC 3, which we'll all have a better version of soon for those of us who are willing, has kind of derived some of its inspiration from this operating system. All right, so this is the main screen on JJ OS 3. So there's a couple things I want to point out. If you notice at the front on the main screen here, kind of like MPC 3 that we've seen announced recently, we have like an arrangement view. So if I were to like sequence something, we can see that I have a visible kind of like grid edit arrangement now, just like MPC 3. And then another thing that's very similar is if you look at right here towards the bottom, you have the indication of what pad you're on and what samples there. So now with MPC 3, we have a visual representation, so we don't get the waveform on this, but we can see what the sample is and we can switch it from the main screen if we want to. Back when JJOS was released, they also created this larger screen that you could mod on the MPC 1000, and they had what was known as MPC 128 XL, which was like a large screen version of OS 3. And with that, because you had more of a screen, you would have an actual visible representation like a waveform. So you could actually chop, set, start, and end points from the main screen as well and select different samples per pad. So MPC OS 3, JJOS 3 is a smaller screen version of that. And we have something that's known as program mode if I move into the trim screen. So right here, if you look at this at the bottom, if I press F1, it moves into program mode, PGM mode. So right now, if I'm just on the regular trim screen, I can edit this single sample. But if I put it into PGM mode, I can see a waveform for every one of the pads as I press a pad. So this is a very useful thing if I want to edit samples while also like playing them in context. So this, in a way, is kind of working like the new MPC 3 for the new gen MPCs, where you have the sample on the main screen. So that's just a quick bounce from the trim mode back to the main screen. Also, another thing here is I have non-destructive chopping. So if I click over here to chop, turn this on, I can select the chop, and there's different chop numbers, and then I can adjust those to have different start and end points. So if I want that chop to be there, say I go down here and select the pad, the same sample I want on this pad, then go over to chop 2. Select the new chop point and just keep doing that. And I can come up with my chops pretty quickly. Set to 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and sequence a chop real quick. Keep it simple. Get these drums in here. Another thing we got that's like the new MPC3 for the new gen MPCs is we've got pad and track mixers. So I'll go through and just adjust individual pads as I press them. So that's really dope. I'm looking forward to the new mixer. I can do tracks, so you can select the tracks as well with the pads, or just click over here. So I know if I know like my chop is over here on track 5. I can do the track there. I could also select like different outputs because the MPC 1000 has like 4 assignable outs. I can assign effects there as well. And I can jump like into the effects here, do like master effects right there. So there's also a grid edit in this. So I can look at individual tracks. I can switch the tracks here. And then kind of like an arranger in a way, if I hold shift, hit track edit F1, I can see all my tracks. I can select through them and then move into those tracks, hit grid again, and now I'm back on track 5 here. I could do some adjustments, delete stuff, add stuff. So yeah, that's the original MPC3 JJOS. Just a few little simple functions that are like the new MPC3 OS for the new gens. I really feel like people are holding on for nostalgia reasons. I don't know, man. I don't know what your reasons are. I was a little bit looking at like the new UI of MPC3. I feel a little hesitant because it looks like a big difference. But if you really look at it, a larger picture of things, it's the same. It looks like the same workflow. You know, on the face of it, you just have things laid out a little bit different. You still have pads and samples per pads, but it brings that forward. And sequences have changed in Word to like arrangement, but it's still the same thing. You can still like go in and edit that. And then song mode, I love song mode. So the arranger just seems like it's gonna be something that I use after I arrange in song mode, and then when I do like record my vocals, I'll use that arranger. And I think it'll be helpful to do some final like arranging and editing within the linear arranger. So I think that's good. And then everything else like the track mixer, I think it's just there to help the workflow. So we'll see when it comes out. As long as it speeds up the workflow, there are some things in like OS 2.15 that I think are kind of awkward, like the mixer and stuff, and jumping around from channel mixer, track mixer, or channel mixer, pad mixer, the programs, the sub mixes, it all being in a linear thing, I think is going to improve the actual workflow process and make it more enjoyable. And I'm definitely looking forward to having that waveform on the front and being able to select my samples and go and pick which samples go on the pads. I think that's going to be a huge improvement. That's part of the reason why I sold my SP44. That's one thing I love about the 44 is like the sampling is right at the front, and with MPC3, it's bringing that there rather than have to jump into program edit, move over a tab, and do all that stuff. So I think it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. All right, everyone. So keep on running with your dreams. Peace and y'all bless.